Well, good morning again. It is great to be with you. If you are like me, you need some fellowship today. It was a rough week in the Nunez household. Sophia had a little virus. It didn't get horribly bad, but we were fighting some dehydration. So it was nice just to be worshiping with you. So I know we just greeted, but just take this time and just say, hey, it's great to see you this morning to your neighbor. It's great to see all of you all. So we have some exciting things going on in the community right now. Oh, this is great. Good job. Yeah, safe, throw back, everywhere. So we have some exciting things going on in the community right now. If you don't know, there's a dominoes being put in. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's making me question my loyalty to Sands 2 a little bit. But dominoes being put in. Some things involving the church. We have camp starting tomorrow with Devin and her staff. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have like 80 to 100 kids here every single day. And it's going to be fun, a lot of screaming, maybe hopefully no blood. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. We'll pray about that. We also have weekly worship starting tonight. We've kind of already said that. And seriously, come out. I challenge you to come out. It is an awesome opportunity just to be with all the churches in the community, individuals in the community, and just be able to worship, fellowship, play games, eat some food together. And it's really just a taste of heaven because once we get to heaven, we're all going to be together. And it's going to be awesome. And even those people that need a little bit extra grace, it's going to be awesome. And so just come out. It's going to be a great time. And I hope to see you there because it's fun. The last thing is mission trip. Mission trip's right around the corner. It's like 3 weeks away. We're going over to Springfield, Ohio this year. And before I get too much into the mission trip, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your time, supporting us through prayer, through service, through money, whatever it may be. And that's not just for mission trip, that's for youth group as well. I just thank you so much for that. And I know that all the students thank you for it, and all my volunteers do too. We couldn't do a lot of it without you. But that leads us to mission trip. And whether you're familiar with mission trips or not, I want to provide just a quick synopsis of mission trip. So each year, the youth group goes on a trip to a random city in the country. This year, again, like I said, we're going to Springfield, Ohio. And while we're there, we have this opportunity to be with, or to work and serve with the poor, with the elderly, the widow, those with disabilities. There's a lot of different people that we meet. And we do a project at their house, wherever they're living. And these projects can range from a lot of different things. It can be painting, construction, like building a porch, roofing, drywalling, doing just other various little tasks around the house. And so we do that for the whole week. And how do we get all these projects? I'm glad you asked. It's a great question. Before we arrive in the city, I send out a participant link to all the people that are going on a mission trip. And in this link, you fill out things like your contact info, your emergency contact info, and probably one of the most important things is your skill level. They want to know how good you are at drywalling. They want to know how good you are at painting. They want to know how good you are at carpentry, at roofing. So, for example, drywalling, and I know this well because I just sent it to all my students and volunteers. It'll ask what's your skill level. It gives you 5 options. It gives you no experience, some experience, I'm compatible, I can handle drywall, or I'm a professional. So those are your 5 options. Super important because you obviously don't want to be on a project where you just don't need to be there. You're not a professional, you don't need to be doing a whole new wall and drywall or whatever. Well, let me tell you about last summer in West Virginia. See, I filled out my form, and before you ask, I was honest. I didn't try and puff it up to get on this new project. I filled out carpentry, and again, no experience, some experience. I can cut nails or I can cut boards and cut and nail boards. I can build a new porch, or I'm a professional. I can totally cut and nail boards, and heck yeah, sign me up for that. Don't put me on a project where I'm supervising the porch. Don't put me on a project where I'm even building a new porch, because that just wouldn't be good. So last year, Nick Arnberger and Greg Nunez and I, we're on the same crew. It was a double crew, which just means that there's a lot of projects to be done, and they give you more help, so you can hopefully get that done by the end of the week. And it was our first night. You meet your crew, you get your packet, and it's really exciting. For some people, it's like, oh, Christmas morning, we're going to find out what we're doing. And for some people, it's like, new people, I don't want to do this. And so our crew combined, and so our crew number was 65, and our motto was Crew 65, best crew alive. It was great. we tear open our package and read the instructions. Deconstruct and construct a new porch. I don't know how it happened. Me and Nick and the other leader that was with us, we just all kind of just sat there and just somebody was just waiting for somebody to talk. We were side-eyeing each other. We were all having like the sweat that you can't see, but you're like burning up inside. And we're like, oh no, how is this going to even happen? Because we were in disbelief. We were puzzled. Because none of us has ever built a porch at our own home, let alone for somebody we don't even know, that it might just fall down the week later. But hey, we thankfully had Jonah, Kadike, Jeff Kadike on the trip. We asked him questions probably every night when we got back. We had this 16-year-old who was practically a professional, I don't know how, and he carried us through it all. Me and Nick, I memorized these pages of a book. That's kind of my thing. And then Nick was the safety officer, which isn't even a real job on mission trip. He just was the safety officer. So we got through it. It was fun. It was definitely tense and difficult, but it was awesome. But I say all this because I want to say like the hardest part of all this, the hardest part of building a new porch. And that was the post holes. The post holes are rough. You're going through clay, you're going through rock, you're going through roots, all these different things, trying to get to your final destination, however many inches it is or feet it is to get to your guidelines to put the post in. So you're working through the sun trying to get down before the week's in, and then you figure out, wow, we just dug that hole in the wrong spot. Let's fill it in and dig another one, and it's just rough, it's tough. And it's a great experience, great memory, but that leads us to where we're going to camp out today in Genesis chapter 26, 12 to 25. We're going to kind of be around the chapters there. It's not going to be just these few. So Genesis chapter 26, 12 to 25. Verse 12, it says, Isaac planted crops in that land, and in the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, move away from us, you have become too powerful for us. So Isaac moved away from there and camped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug at the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. But the herds of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac and said, the water is ours. So he named the well Esek, because they disputed with him. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled with that one also. So he named it Sitnah. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. So he named it Rehoboth, saying, and now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land. From there he went up to Beersheba that night. From there he went to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you, and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well. So after reading through this passage, I was curious. How did they make wells? How did they dig wells in the Old Testament times? And depending on the article you read, depending on the resource you look up, the main answer is this. And spoiler alert, there was no truck with a drill rig on it. There was no auger. But they would put a frame above where they were going to start digging. And attach a rope to it so somebody would be harnessed. As they would dig, they would go at least 10 to 30 feet down until they found water, or they didn't find water and they had spots. So if they were continuing to dig, they would harness somebody in, they would go down into the well, and they would dig up dirt using hand tools or hands and put it in the bucket, and they would send it up and put it on the side, and they would keep going until they found water. So this shift lasted as long as they could, or until, again, they found water. And after they found water, they would line it from top to bottom to top with stone or clay bricks. And after that, they would have a well. And with the blessed amount of times, I would gladly take that truck with the drill rig on it. So I say this because three times, Isaac and his servants, they potentially had to do this tiring and excruciating task. 3 times, and I'm sitting here struggling to go 3 to 3.5 feet down in a postal. I'm only working like a 10-minute shift before somebody takes over for me. And I'm getting flustered because just when I think we have the hole in the right spot, it's not close enough to the house now. We have to scrape an inch off to get it closer, and we have to dig up the dirt again. But we see here, Isaac and his servants, they dug this well by hand with hand tools. I think 3 times. And they did it selflessly, and they did it peacefully. So in the couple chapters before our set of verses that we read today, Abraham sent out his servant to find a wife for Isaac. Abraham told his servant to go back to his home country and find someone suitable for Isaac. So you see, Abraham currently dwelled with the Canaanites, so he sent his servant back to his homeland to search. And I imagine the servant thinking on his way back, he took 10 camels with him as well, and while traveling with those camels, with the gift, the luggage, he's like, how am I going to find the person that's suitable for my master's son, for Isaac? What am I going to do to know she's the one? And what the servant did was he prayed. He prayed that God would send somebody to not only give him a drink, but would also give his 10 camels a drink. So he prays that and goes and sits at the well, and that plays out exactly how it does. The servant came to the well, sat, and here comes Rebekah. And Rebekah offers him a drink. Not only does Rebekah offer him a drink, but she offers the 10 camels, his 10 camels, to him a drink. And the servant ends up bringing her back to Isaac and Abraham. The time passed, and Abraham passes away. Rebekah had Esau and Jacob. Esau sells his birthright. The family comes to the Philistines, which the Philistines kick him out because he's been too powerful, and then he settles down in Gerar. Now we're back where we are. So I don't want to skip over this quick summary because the meeting of Rebekah and the servant is so powerful as well. I have read this part in Genesis so many times, maybe you have too, but this is such an obscure detail that I think we get so much out of from Rebekah's life and from Isaac's life. Again, the servant prayed that she not only get him a drink, but the 10 camels, and those 10 camels lumbered their way through the desert onto Isaac's homeland. And when they got there, Rebekah came out, and she offered the servant a drink, offered the camels a drink. And this is so important because I don't know if anybody in here knows how much a camel can drink when they're thirsty, but it's quite a bit. Depending on the resources and whatever you look up on Google, it's all different. But the common number right now is 32 gallons. So we're going to round that down to 30 gallons. And we're going to use some math. And I'll try not to stick to the math too much and stay away from the old simple, hopefully. So assuming our math is correct, we've got 30 gallons per camel. So we have 10 camels, 10 times 30, 300. Let's say Rebekah could carry 5 gallons of water, like the coolers and the jugs that you take on sports games or have on the benches. Or maybe you have like a plastic cooler at home, 5 gallons. She goes and fills it up. So now you have 300 divided by 5, that's 60. Rebekah took 60 trips to give these camels a drink. And this isn't going just to like a spigot and just turning it on and you're like, oh yeah, we're good. Or going to like a nice grocery store and pressing a button and starts filling out the water. No, this is Rebekah going down to the cistern, which is not next to the well, it's going up, and you got to go down these stairs and you dip down into this cool water, get the water in the 5-gallon jug, let's say, and then you put it on your back and you haul it over to the camels and the trough, you give it to the camels, and then you go back again and you do the same task over and over. And 60 times. 60 times she did this. Rebekah was was generous. Rebekah was hospitable. So let's go quickly back to Isaac. Him and Rebekah and their house just got kicked out by the Philistines, right? Instead of going to Egypt, he is commanded to stay in the land by God, so he stays. He opens up the wells, and these people come, and they pick a pipe, and they say, no, that well is ours. Okay. It's yours. Isaac says back. He goes and gets another one. They finally got a well. No, that well is ours. Okay. Take it. It's yours. Isaac keeps on, and takes another one. He keeps on submitting, even though he's being treated unjustly, even though he's being treated unfairly, and he keeps living in this land and committed to God and simply trusting Him. So we see in these two stories of Rebekah and Isaac, as they're becoming one and as they're becoming one and moving together, two individuals blessing nations, blessing other people in spite of themselves. Rebekah generously gives water to a complete stranger and his camels from Canaan, knowing it was going to be difficult, knowing it was going to be hard, knowing it was going to be tedious, but unknowing what was going to happen. We say Isaac gave up perfectly great and rightful wells to other people and simply move on to dig up other wells. The nations kick them out, we don't really like you, fill up their wells, go dig wells, come back, oh, those are our wells. Take them. From these two people, from the beginning of the Bible, we see the type of people God is calling us to be in Jesus. We see the mentality we should have as one body in Christ. We see the mentality we should have as being a believer, a follower of Jesus. We see the opportunity we have to respond to a culture that needs Jesus just as much as us. To be generous, to be hospitable, to be peaceful, to be selfless, forgiving, compassionate, just like we see in both of these stories by Isaac and Rebekah. And I think sometimes for us, we get it so wrong that, some of you might be going to Tasty Cafe after this, Parkway Cafe, might travel up Toronto Road, Cracker Barrel, whatever. Might be busy there. And as you're sitting there, you might start to get this feeling of, man, I'm losing my patience, I'm losing my cool, I need to get going. You know what, they're slow, I might give them a tip. Or hey, you might be going to work this week and you might stop for morning coffee. They mess up your order. I'm going to show them, I'm going to make a big fuss out of things. Or they're taking away your stuff, or they're taking away your God, or they're taking away your rights. Let's take a page out of Rebekah and Isaac's book. Let's take a page out of their book and say, you want to take that? I'll show you what my God is like. You want to do that to me? I'll show you what my God is like. My God is generous. My God is selfless. It wasn't your will, but I'm not going to sit here and fight over it. I'm not going to take you to court. I'm not going to protect my rights. My God is forgiving. My God is compassionate. Oh, you need help with this, you need help with that. Your camels need watered. My God will walk down into a cistern 60 times to make sure that you as a stranger living next to me, traveling in my land, are taken care of. I'm going to lay down my rights, my life, to show you what my God is like. Don't get me wrong, this had been excruciating, this had been tiring, this had been not easy for Isaac and Rebekah. It was probably painful, tiresome, incredibly frustrating, whatever adjective you want to put there. So how could they just take it all, whether it was doing the service, whether it was an injustice? In Genesis chapter 26, 23 to 24, we read already, it said, from there he went up to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. They did it by trusting the Lord. They did it because they trusted the promise that he gave to them. They felt wholeheartedly God was going to be with them, no matter the circumstance, no matter how hard the service was going to be, no matter how difficult it was going to be generous, to be selfless. And they knew that God's kingdom was going to move by being that. They knew by arguing God's kingdom wasn't going to flow out from them. They knew by fighting their kingdom wasn't going to be, his kingdom wasn't going to flow out through them. But by being selfless, by being generous, by being hospitable. And it worked, as we see it play out throughout the Bible. Trusting in Jesus, trusting his forgiveness that he's calling you to, trusting that selfless act that he's calling you towards somebody, that forgiveness towards somebody, that selflessness towards somebody, that trust of peace that he's placed in your heart. It works. And that's for every situation that we have to be in, because this is every day in our lives. It's when you get up in the morning and greet your significant other. It's when you get up in the morning and have to make breakfast for your kids, your family. It's when you get up in the morning and have to go do your long list of chores. It's when you get up and you go to the store and you see the people around you. It's the people that are living next to you in your neighborhood. And what are you doing to interact with them? What are you doing to impact them? What are you doing to be generous, to be loving, to be forgiving, to be compassionate? It's when we go to a ball game and somebody spills a drink on us or something like that. It's when we go to wherever you are. It's here in church. How are we interacting with one another? It's here in our community of Sherman. How are we as a church interacting with our community? Are we being the Rebecca and the Isaacs of the Bible? And it doesn't just stop with them. It's consistent throughout all the people God uses. Are we trusting in God to humble ourselves, not be proud, but to say, God, I'm here, and I want you to use me to respond to the world. No matter how crazy it is, no matter how much I may or may not disagree, no matter how different people are from me, use me to bless those nations as you blessed, as Isaac and Rebecca blessed, by you using them. Lay down your right, lay down our right, lay down our life just as Jesus did. He's our example. Because that's how his kingdom is going to move. And we see it with Paul in the New Testament too. The story in Acts, I believe it's chapter 16, when him and his friends are all in the jail cell, and the earthquake comes in and it swings open the door and their chains fall off and the guards asleep. You know, they had the opportunity to take back their right again. They had the opportunity to run and be free and go. But they stayed. They stayed. Because leaving probably would have been a selfish thing. And that guard came to Christ in that moment. And they ended up being freed a little bit later. So again, Isaac and Rebecca didn't know how this was going to play out. They trusted, simply trusted the Lord and his promise. There's going to be things that I don't know in your lives that I don't know how they're going to play out. They might be great things, they may be hard things. They may be things in our community that I don't know how they're going to play out. There's things in our nation, in our world, that I don't know how they're going to play out. But I do know that God is calling us to take a page out of Rebecca and Isaac's story, to be a people of generosity, of selflessness, of forgiveness, of care to people around us. And all comes through Jesus. So what I want you to remember today, God's calling you to trust him. Simply trust him. Trust and know that He's working your life together for good, whatever that circumstance may look like. He's calling you to bless other nations, other people, your neighbors, the people that look differently from you, the people that think differently than you. People are going to know us by our love. And then finally, remember, just as it says in Genesis chapter 26, He's going to be present, He's going to be with you through all this. You know, it's not something that, oh man, Jacob just talked about this, I need to go out and do the most generous thing I can say. No. Oftentimes these moments, just like Nunez and just like Rebecca, they're just living life. And they come about their daily life. And they get to seize that opportunity, that privilege to show Jesus to these people, to be a witness of Jesus to these people. And I invite you, if you're not living that life, it's nothing that you have to compare to other people. It's nothing that you have to, try and be like me or try and be like that person or this person. No, it's simply just living a life with Jesus. And in Colossians, it's having Jesus open the doors for those opportunities for your life. So I pray that for us as a congregation, for us as a people, if you're visiting today, that we have a response to everyone that is similar to Isaac and Rebecca, where we get to show what God is like. And that more people in His kingdom would move in our community. Let's pray. Dear God, just thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity just to be here. Lord, I pray that you just help these stories, these accounts of Isaac and Rebecca just to sink into our lives. There's so much strife in our country. There's so much anger. There's so much division, even in our community. Lord, I pray that you just help us. Help us to see more of you. Help us to take a page again out of Isaac and Rebecca's book. That even when it doesn't make sense, even when it doesn't make sense to love, even when it doesn't make sense to forgive, to show compassion, to show peace, that you would do that in us. That you would do that in us in a way that's going to be so powerful that nobody can doubt that it's just from you. Lord, if we're here today and we don't necessarily know